Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Jason here with some more news on Starfield, because this morning, July 25th, Tuesday morning, they actually put out 3 different videos. They're animations, and they're really cool, but they didn't really explain what they are. And so I'm going to go over the animations, all 3 of them, and I'm going to tell you what I think they are. And spoiler alert, I think these are the life paths that you can choose, the backstory you can choose in Starfield when you create your character. So very awesome. I'm super pumped up. If you are about Starfield, I got No Man's Sky in the brain. If you're excited about Starfield, hit that like button. So let's jump in to the first one. And the first one that I saw was called Where Hope Is Built. This whole animation is based off of Aquila City Orphan from the famous Colony Wars, desperately trying to explore the stars, but she has a problem. She has a broken ship. So the animation is really cool. It kind of gives you the backstory to Aquila City, which is way out in like the outer edges of the game. This is where like the outer edges where humanity is barely touching. It's more like the frontier. So you have a lot of like what you would call like the Western theme kind of thing, you know, a lot of farmers, that kind of stuff. This feels like, if you were to compare it to Cyberpunk, this feels like the nomad life choice, you know, the life path that you would pick in the beginning. So you're an orphan, you do not have parents, you're going to be more scrappy. There's going to be different abilities that are linked to each background, each backstory in the game. So we don't know what the details are. We don't know what you're going to get as a benefit for being an orphan from Aquila, but we know that that's where your backstory is going to be. Also, I don't think that you're going to have to start in that city. Like when you start your character, you start a brand new game and create a character with this backstory, I don't think you're going to start out in Aquila City. I might be wrong on that. I think we all start in the same spot, but you'll have missions to go back to Aquila City. And if you do go back there, people might recognize you, they might know who you are, or you might be able to talk to certain people about historical events that came out in the city. Like, hey, remember when this thing happened or when that thing happened? Or you might be able to cut a deal because you're from there, so you're not like an outsider. I think that's how they're going to cut it, but who knows? Who knows? And then jumping to the next video that they put out, the next animation they put out, it is called The Hand That Feeds. And this backstory looks more like the street kid backstory from Cyberpunk. Again, I'm comparing it to Cyberpunk as like a frame of reference, but we don't know exactly what it means. Like, is it going to be a whole thing you can play, or is it just something you select and then it's just in your backstory? We don't know for sure. But this animation takes place on Neon, the Voli Alpha planet. This is more of like a harbor, like a fishing planet. But the special thing about Neon is they found a fish that has psychotropic properties. Basically, there is a special drug on this planet that people go to. It's like a pleasure city, almost like the Las Vegas of Starfield. You go there, there's a whole bunch of like seedy, bad stuff going on there, and this whole animation is based off of 2 street rats. So maybe it's going to be more of the street kid type of background. But the whole thing, it kind of goes through, you have a buddy, or she has a buddy, and they're, you know, just living on the streets, and they find somebody, and he wants to rob the person. Your character, the character that the animation is based off of, she does not. She wants to be a good person, and so she helps him out. She fights with her friend, her fellow street kid, and wins, and because she defended the guy, then at the end of the animation, she gets a job, like a corporate job. So maybe it's more of a corporate kind of setup. Maybe you have a lot of cool additions, like you can call in backup, or maybe you get more money or something like that. So again, well, this is all speculation. We don't know exactly what the perks are going to be, or they also have downsides. So in Starfield, you have perks, but there's also downsides. So, for example, this is not exactly in the game, but you might have, you know, like a stronger character, so you do way better melee damage. However, your intelligence might be really low, so you're not smart enough to hack or things like that. So there's going to be trade-offs. You get a benefit, but you also get a downside to it. We don't know what it's going to be for your background, but this looks like the neon kit, the neon background, looks like you're going to be more of a street kid that moves up into corporate, maybe? All that kind of stuff. Very, very cool. Very, very interesting to see that kind of stuff. Then the next one, the final animation they released, is called the SUPRA Eat Ultra. I'm guessing that is Latin. I probably mispronounced the crap out of that. But this one takes place on New Atlantis, which is in the Alpha Centauri planet. This is the one we've seen a lot of. So a lot of the trailers have New Atlantis in it. It's a huge city. It is the largest city in Starfield. So when you get there, it's so huge that you literally, there is a train system so you can jump on there and go from one side to the other, which is absolutely crazy. So in this animation, it's actually focused on a courier that lands, a pilot that lands in New Atlantis, and he's trying to live the most desirable part of his settle system. So he wants to be in the big city. He wants to deliver, and he's doing all that kind of stuff. But then he joins the Vanguard, and he's working his way up to the capital's elite, in the military. He starts doing all this stuff. It looks like he's the more adventurous type. Very, very cool. It almost, maybe this is going to be the military background. Not kind of like that. I don't know for sure, but he's like exploring the systems. He is literally going out there and doing a whole bunch of stuff, doing contracts, turning in money or turning in missions to get his payments, that kind of stuff. So very, very cool, very, very different. And so who knows, maybe you have better piloting skills because your background is a pilot, that kind of stuff. All this stuff is so interesting. I'm really, really excited for it. And I don't know if these are going to be the only backstories we can choose from, the life paths in Starfield. I have a feeling there's going to be more, but I keep comparing it to Cyberpunk because that's kind of like the frame of reference that we can use. That game recently came out. A lot of people jumped in and played it, so it's kind of an easy thing to compare it to, but it does not mean that it's going to be exactly like Cyberpunk. Because in Cyberpunk, you kind of played the intro, and it really did not have an effect on the game itself. Like, sometimes you would get some some audio, some vocal choices, but they wouldn't really do anything to change the storyline. It feels like Bethesda really wants to focus on this and give you benefits based on your background. So if you are the pilot, or maybe if you're the orphan from the frontier, you're going to have different advantages and disadvantages to your character versus anyone else. In the Starfield big old breakdown, the huge Starfield Direct, they actually mentioned that there is some background or there's some advantages, some stats that will help you in the game. It will totally affect the game. The example they used is that they took a perk that put them into a religion. They joined a certain religion as their character. Well, there's certain regions of space you can only enter if you are part of that religion. So there are going to be perks that say, hey, look, if you want to do this thing, it'll give you an advantage. However, if you're part of this religion, other people will hate you or whatever. And so you can get into this certain piece of space. However, other regions are going to dislike you and they're going to be suspicious of you all the time. That sounds really, really cool. Way more in-depth than Cyberpunk. But again, this is all speculation. We have no idea yet. We're just getting little bites here and there. And so I'm really excited. Are you guys excited for it? What do you guys think of these animations? Are you excited for Starfield? I know most of you are, but I can't wait. Almost like a little over 1 month until Starfield comes out. And I'm going to be playing it day one. So hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, hit that like button. And I will see you guys next time.